or the force of life that Jehovah blew into Adam. And what was the result? It says, and the man became a living person, or in some Bibles it says a soul. You see, so who is the person? Who is Linval? He's the soul. But right now he's a dead soul. You see, because what's going to happen to him? Well, in time he's going to return back to the ground. Well, many people say, well, no, that just cannot be the end of it. Well, let's look in our Bible this time at in Ecclesiastes. We're going to turn to Ecclesiastes 9 and verse number 5. Again, we're going to look at that in our computer. The lighting is not good for me here. Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter. Notice what it says here. Makes a comparison between the living and the dead. It says, for the living know that they will die. Isn't that true? It says, but the dead know nothing at all, nor do they have any more reward, because all the memory of them is forgotten. So you see, the dead are not aware of anything that's going around in them. If we recall, Jesus likened death to a deep sleep. That's the way Teddy is. He's just in a death-like sleep, not aware of anything that's going on. And that should be comforting to us. This is the way Jehovah comforts us, letting us know why we die, what happens to us when we die. And isn't it good to know that he's not suffering anymore? But is that the end of it? People say, well, what is it? We just die and that's it? No, that is not it. We're so glad that Jehovah God is the kind of God that he is. And Jehovah is very well aware how each one of you feel right now about the loss of Teddy. He's well aware how you feel. And so Jehovah God shows us in his word, the Bible, what he wants to do, desires to do, so that we can have comfort. And so he's given us a grand hope, and it's found in the book of John, the 5th chapter, verses 28 and 29. And this is where Jesus was speaking to the people in his day. Notice what he said to them. John 5, 28 and 29. He says, do not be amazed at this. Many people feel that the dead coming back to life is just never going to happen. But Jesus said, do not be amazed at the hour is coming which all those in the memorial tombs will hear his voice and come out. Those who did good things to a resurrection of life, and those who practice vile things to a resurrection of judgment. You know what's interesting about Jesus' words here? Use a grave. He didn't say all those in the grave is going to come out, did he? He says all those in the memorial tombs will come out. Usually that's what we think. When people die, they go into the grave. But Jesus didn't have that in mind when he said these words. What he had in mind was God's memory. You see, in order for Jehovah God to bring the dead back to life, what would he need to know? He would need to know everything about that person. He would need to know everything about Teddy. One thing I can remember about Teddy is when he would come into the Kingdom Hall, I would always commend him the way he dressed. Oh boy, he could dress so neat. And we would commend him about that. But he wouldn't take credit for it. He would always say, Brother Mars, look at my wife. She did this. And I thought that was So humble of him. He never took credit for the way he dressed. He always gave credit to his wife. But Jehovah God will remember that about Teddy. And he brings him back in the resurrection. Because Jesus said all those in God's memory will be resurrected. So, could Jehovah God remember everything about Teddy and everybody that died, all the details, so that we would know them and be able to identify them when they come back? Yes, he could. Because in the Bible of Isaiah, the 40th chapter, verse number 26, it says that all those stars that you see up in the heavens, and we just see not a lot, but astronomers tells us that there are billions of stars in the heavens. And in Isaiah, the Bible tells us that Jehovah could name every last one of those stars. He named them. So if he could name billions and billions of stars, you think he would have a problem remembering all the details about our dead loved ones? The billions and billions of persons that will be resurrected? No. Jehovah will have no problem with that. And so that's a grand hope that we can look forward to in the future. And we'll be able to be reunited with our dead loved ones again. To conclude, as we mentioned, Jehovah God is concerned. He feels for everyone here, the family, the friends, about the death of Teddy. And he knows how you feel. So what is Jehovah God's feelings for the future for you and for Teddy? Well, in the book of Psalms, the 90th chapter, verses 12 and 10, the prophet Moses spoke about how long man's lifespan is. He said 70 or 80 years. Interesting